Hello students, in this video we will be discussing about voltage regulations methods of our synchronous generator. Okay, here mainly there are three types of voltage regulation methods. First one is synchronous impedance or also called as EMF method, and second one is ampere turn or MMF method, and third one is a famous one, that is ZPF or famously called as Portier method. Okay, so we know that our voltage regulation is E naught minus terminal voltage by terminal voltage into 100 for a percentage voltage regulation. So all these methods will be having their own style of finding this E naught. Okay, we know that E naught square equal to Vt cos pi plus IaRa whole square generated EMF, right? So Vt sin pi plus or minus Ia xs whole square. Okay, we know that the expression for generated EMF. Okay, E naught equal to this expression times volts. Okay, so we are going to find different methods in finding E naught so that we can calculate our voltage regulation of our synchronous generator. So I have already told you we are going to find a voltage regulation for these large machines having rating of 5 kilowatts. More than 5 kilowatts machines will be found voltage regulation by indirect methods. These all are indirect methods. So direct methods will be performed for a small machines less than 5 kilowatts rating. Okay, that means rated voltage will be applied and load will be thrown off. Then we will see how the voltage at generated voltage is going to be rise. Okay, that was direct method. But indirect method is having different methods to find our E naught so that we can find voltage regulation. Okay, now let us start finding one by one. Before going to find these methods, we need to know about some characteristics. Okay, now let us try to learn those characteristics. So first let us try to understand open circuit characteristics of our synchronous generator. So this is also called as OCC characteristics, that is graph between our generated EMF and field current. Okay, I hope you already know what is the open circuit characteristics, right? So we are going to, there will be no load on the machine, on the generator. We are going to vary our field current and such that our no load EMF will be drawn. Okay, so let us consider our field current on x axis and our generated EMF on y axis. So the characteristics of OCC of our synchronous generator will be like this. Okay, as you increase IF to certain period, the EMF induced in alternator will be linear. Okay, after that will go into saturation. Okay, as core gets saturated, the EMF induced will be constant. Okay, E1, let us write it E1. Okay, so up to this it is linear. After this the EMF generator will be constant because the core will get saturated for increased field current. Okay, so this is open circuit characteristics of our induction machine OCC. Okay, as field current increases, our linear operating region, in linear operating region, as field increases, our EMF induced in the stator winding will increase for certain period. After that will be constant even if you increase the field current. Okay, because of the saturation constraint. Okay, so this is about OCC. Now let us try to understand short circuit characteristics named SCC, and this is graph between short circuit current ISC and field current IF. Okay, so here this is under short circuit condition of our generator. So generator terminals will be short circuited through a low resistance ammeter. Okay, here this is a low resistance ammeter to measure the short circuit current. Okay, so for that, to drive that short circuit current in the circuit, this is our equivalent circuit of generator. Okay, E1 is voltage to drive ISC current through the circuit. Okay, so that E1 is to supply this voltage drop, that means I1 equal to ISC into RA plus J into XL plus XA. So this complete term I can consider as synchronous impedance. ZS is synchronous impedance. Okay, you already know that. Okay, so here IA is nothing but ISC, right? This is ISC. Okay, short circuit current will flow through the armature winding, armature resistance, leakage reactance and armature reactions, fictitious reactance. So this will be supplied by our E1 and this is the ISC. Okay, we are going to vary our field current from 1.5 to 2 times rated field current to see the variation in short circuit current. That is nothing but short circuit test. So we are going to vary the IF. The ISC will be proportional to IF. Okay, the field ISC will be proportional to our field current. So this is short circuit characteristics of our generator. Okay, field current and short circuit current are proportional to each other, so the curve will be linear one. Okay, this is about short circuit characteristics of our generator. Now let us try to understand our first method of voltage regulation to find in synchronous generator, that is synchronous impedance method or EMF method. Okay, let us try to understand synchronous impedance method or EMF method of voltage regulation of our synchronous generator. So to find synchronous impedance method, so to find voltage regulation in synchronous impedance method, we are going to need two test data here, that is one is OCC test data, another is SCC test data. We need these two test data to find synchronous impedance method of voltage regulation. Okay, so before going to that, these two test data should be, these two curves should be drawn on a common field current base. That means the field current should be same for these two graphs. Okay, that means for OCC, for SCC, we are going to take a common field current while finding voltage regulation using synchronous impedance method. Okay, so before going to that, we know the equivalent circuit of our generator. Okay, this is EMF generated and IA is armature current, RA is armature resistance, XL is leakage reactance, and XA is armature reaction, fictitious reactance, and VT is terminal voltage. Okay, so XS is a synchronous impedance. We know that synchronous reactance, XS is synchronous reactance, which is sum of XL and XA. Here XL is a leakage reactance that contribute voltage drop in the circuit. Okay, that means this is a voltage component or EMF component, because leakage reactance will induce some EMF in the. Now let us try to find out voltage regulation. Okay, so we are going to draw OCC and SCC curves here. Okay, so the base for both the curves is common field current, that is I am going to consider this as IF, common field current. So this is our no load EMF, that is E0, and this is our short circuit current ISC. Okay, so on this graph I am going to draw E0 versus IF, on this graph I am going to draw ISC versus IF. I can take either side, right? So I am going to draw the OCC first, so that will be like this. Okay, let us consider a armature, okay, double layer winding, and let us consider this is a pole, north pole. Okay, so for a north pole, the direction of current will be into the plane. So what is the leakage reactance here? This is armature, this is rotor. Okay, so due to the current flow in the conductors, there will be a flux induced in the conductors. By applying Thom's rule, I can write the direction of the flux. Okay, so here some of the flux will only link with the stator core, not with the rotor magnetic field. So this linked magnetic field will induce some EMF in the static core. So this EMF is represented by our IAXL drop. This is drop due to leakage reactance, that is IAXL drop is represented by our leakage reactance. Okay, this is a EMF component, voltage component. Okay, some of the EMF is being lost here. Okay, so that's why in this method of finding voltage regulation, we are going to treat XL as EMF component, as actually armature reactance component is a ampere turn or MMF or flex component, because it is a flex component. Okay, armature flex will affect the main field flex. So this is a flex component. Our leakage reactance is a EMF component, because it will induce some EMF in the static core. So I am going to treat our XA not separately. I am going to add the cumulative effect of XL with XA, and I am going to treat it as EMF effect. So that's why the name of the method is called EMF method. I hope you understand. So we are going to consider XL as dominant one here, and we are going to treat XA not separately. Okay, as it is a flex component, we are not treating it separately. Okay, we are only treating it in addition to our XL. So the total effect of synchronous reactance will be EMF effect. Okay, so that is nothing but EMF method of finding voltage regulation. Okay, and SCC, this is SCC character. This is our OCC characteristics, and this is our short circuit characteristics. Okay, here IF and ISC are proportional to each other, so the curve will be linear. Okay, so in this we can find out one component here. Here this for under short circuit condition, the terminal voltage will become 0. Okay, this voltage VT will become 0 as it is short circuited. So the EMF supplied by generator will only to supply this impedance drop, that is E1 is only to supply. So under short circuit condition, the current will flow is a short circuit current. Okay, ISC into RA plus J into XL plus XA. Okay, so this will become ISC into this whole term I can replace with impedance, that is synchronous impedance, that is E1 is only to supply this synchronous impedance drop. Okay, so here I can find out ZS equal to E1 by ISC, that is synchronous impedance equal to EMF at short circuit condition by EMF at open circuit condition. This is open circuit condition, this is ISC is short circuit condition. Okay, this is E0. Okay, So here under short circuit condition the terminal voltage will be equal to 0. That means this no load voltage will only need to supply this impedance drop. That means under short circuit condition this will be ISC. So no load voltage will be ISC into RA plus J into XL plus XA, that I can replace with impedance, that is synchronous impedance. So synchronous impedance will be equal to E O open circuit by I short circuit. That means our synchronous impedance is nothing but open circuit voltage by short circuit current. Okay, so here I can find the EOC and ISC ratio. That means so I can find out the ZS, that is synchronous impedance in this graph. Okay, so for a particular here the field current is constant, field current is same at this condition. Okay, field current is same for open circuit and short circuit conditions. So I am going to take a short circuit condition. This is ISC. So this will be my ISC, and at the same field current IF, this will be our open circuit. So I can write ZS equal to this EOC1, okay, by ISC1 at IF1. Okay, for IF2 I can take another field current condition. Okay, at this condition what is the short circuit current? This is short circuit current ISC2 and this is open circuit voltage EOC2. Okay, that will be ZS2 equal to EOC2 by ISC2. So if I keep on taking these values ZS1, ZS2, ZS3 for different values of field current, so the ZS impedance curve will be like this. Okay, this will be impedance curve. This will be impedance curve. The value of ZS will vary with respect to field current and EOC and ISC. Okay, this is our field current. Okay, so this is our impedance curve. Okay, that means it is linear for certain period, then it will go into saturation, that it will decrease as our field current increases. That means this is linear operating region. It is linear here, it is constant, ZS is constant here, but after some value that will go into decrease. Okay, so we are going to find here ZS equal to open circuit voltage EOC by short circuit current ISC. Right, IF is same, IF should be same under both conditions. See, if ISC is not same, we are going to calculate the values at the same IF. Okay, we are going to perform some problems so that you can understand. Okay, ZS is nothing but EOC, open circuit voltage by short circuit current. So we have obtained ZS value using the open circuit and short circuit characteristics. So ZS is found. Okay, so we can find XS by applying ZS square minus RA square. So how can you find RA here, armature resistance? So by applying some DC voltage to armature, and we are going to measure armature current. So by short circuit current, here V by A ratio will give us RA. Okay, here that is DC value of resistor. Okay, we are going to find RAC here. We need RAC, that will be 1.2 times RDC. So this is how we are going to calculate our armature resistance. Or one more method is also be used to find armature resistance, that is Kelvin's double bridge method. This is to find low resistance. You may get this in EMI. Okay, right? Measurements and instrumentation. Okay, so Kelvin's double bridge is going to be used to find the armature resistance, that is very low resistance, or it can be obtained by this V by A method. Okay, that is we are going to apply some DC voltage to the armature. Okay, the effect of inductance will be nullified, they will become short circuit, and we are going to find the ratio between V and I, and you can repeat this V and I for different values of V, so that you can take the average of RDC value. So you can find the RAC value, that is equal to 1.2 times RDC. Okay, so here we have obtained armature resistance by Kelvin's double bridge R using that V by A method, and so we can find that XS as we have already obtained ZS from this synchronous impedance method. So XS can be found. So we have RA and we have ZS. So you can find the E naught term, that is VT cos pi plus IA, RA is obtained whole square plus VT sin pi plus or minus IA XS whole square. Okay, so if you can get RA and XS values, you can find the E naught term, and the voltage regulation will be equal to E naught minus V by V into 100. Okay, so this is idea. So we are going to calculate E naught. As for that, we are going to calculate our armature resistance and synchronous reactance value. Here the synchronous reactance is equal to XL leakage reactance plus XA. Here the effect of XA is not treated separately, it is cumulative effect of XL. So that's why it is a EMF method. Okay, as XL is inducing some EMF, the method is called as EMF method, because we are treating XL as the cumulative component of our reactive synchronous reactance. Okay, so this is about EMF method. Here we are going to get, so by using the data of RA XS, we can find our E naught, which is equal to VT cos pi plus IA RA whole square plus Vt sin pi plus or minus Ia xs whole square. Okay, so we obtained Ra from V by A method and xs from synchronous impedance method. That is, we have obtained Zs from the curves. We are going to calculate xs, which is equal to Zs square minus Ra square. Okay, that means because Zs equal to Ra square plus xs square, we can find xs from here. That is this. Okay, so by after finding V0 E0, we can find our voltage regulation, that is E0 minus Vt by Vt into 100. Okay, this is percentage regulation can be found by synchronous impedance method. But this method of finding voltage regulation is not accurate, because here we obtained Zs, its value is greater compared to Zs under normal operating condition. Under normal operating voltage, this is Zs, but this is for EMF method of regulation. So the Zs obtained in EMF method is more compared to Zs for normal operating voltage. That's why our voltage regulation in this EMF method is more compared to voltage regulation of actual voltage regulation. Okay, that's why this method of finding voltage regulation, EMF method or synchronous impedance method, is also called as pessimistic method, because it is having more value than the actual voltage regulation of the machine. Pessimistic method, that's why it is called pessimistic method. Pessimistic means more value than actual. Pessimistic method. Okay, this is important. Which of the methods is pessimistic? You will be asked in competitive exams. Okay, which of these methods, EMF method, MMF method, or Poisson triangle method, which of this is pessimistic? Means EMF method is pessimistic method. Okay, so this is about synchronous impedance method of finding voltage. Let's have a problem. Here we have to find synchronous impedance and synchronous reactance of an alternator, in which a given field current produces an armature current of 200 amps on short circuit and a generated EMF of 50 volts under open circuit. Okay, the armature resistance is 0.1 ohm. Here he didn't mention ohm per phase, that means this is for a single phase alternator. Okay, so we have to find to what induced voltage. We need to find induced EMF must the alternator be excited if it is to deliver a load of 100 amperes. This is armature current. Okay, load current at a power factor of 0.8 lagging with a terminal voltage of Vt 200 volts. So we have to find induced voltage in our generator, that is given as E0. Okay, how can we find this? We can find using our expression, that is Vt cos pi plus Ia Ra whole square plus Vt sin pi plus or minus Ia xs whole square, and this is under root 1 by 2. Okay, so here because it is lagging power factor, I am going to take it positive here. Okay, the question mentioned is lagging, so we must take positive there. So let us write the given data. Given data is, we need to find Zs and Xs, and the current produced under short circuit condition is Isc. Isc is 200 amperes. Okay, so, and voltage generated under open circuit condition, that is Voc, that is 50 volts here. Okay, the current under short circuit condition is 200, that is Isc, and generated EMF under open circuit condition is 50 volts, that is Voc. Okay, so and an extra data is Ra. It didn't mention ohm per phase, that's why I am going to treat as this is a single phase alternator. Okay, single phase alternator. Okay, all values are phase values only. Okay, so Ra is 0.1 ohm. To what induced voltage E0 should be found, and the load current IL or Ia equal to IL, that is equal to 100 amperes at power factor of cos pi is equal to 0.8 lagging. Okay, and given terminal voltage is Vt is phase voltage only, because it is single phase. Okay, that is 200 volts. So you can observe one thing here, the short circuit current is 200 amperes under short circuit condition, the armature current is 100 amperes. Here the short circuit condition current is almost 2 times the load current. Okay, this is what I told you about. Now let us try to find our generated EMF E0. So further we need Vt, we have Vt cos pi can be found, and Ia is 100, and we have Ra here, Vt sin pi is there, Ia is there, Xs we don't have Xs here. So how can we find Xs? Synchronous reactance. So if you can find Xs, just only one parameter is to be found. So if you can find that, you can find the E0. So how can you find this? So for that we are going to see the question again. The question given is, there is a short circuit current of 200 amps under short circuit condition and open circuit voltage of 50 volts. So I can write Zs equal to open circuit voltage by short circuit current. Okay, this is important because the given data has both of them. So I can find Zs here so that I can find Xs. Okay, that is the idea. So that's why it is called synchronous impedance method. So Zs equal to, this is synchronous impedance method. Okay, synchronous impedance method, Zs method. Can I treat like this? So the question didn't mention anywhere like ZS method or synchronous impedance method or EMF method. We need to understand from the question itself. So because the given data has VOC and ISC under same field current, this is important. Given field current is same for VOC and ISC. If the field current is not same, we have to make the values of VOC and ISC for same field current. Okay, that I am going to do with the extra problem. Okay, so ZS can be found with 50 volts by what is ISC, that is 200. That is ZS is 0.25 amperes. Okay, so similarly we can find XS which can be found by ZS square minus RA square. Okay, you can substitute the values here. So XS equal to ZS is ZS value is 0.25 whole square minus 0.1 whole square. So the ZS XS will be 0.23 ohm. This is ohm, right? This is 0.25 ohm and XS is 0.23. So we got all the parameters we need to calculate E naught. So E naught equal to VT is 200 phase voltage because it is single phase, cos pi is 0.8 plus IA is 100, given load current is ampere, IA is 100, RA is 0.1 whole square plus 200 into sin pi will be, for cos pi 0.6, the sin pi will be, what is the value? That is 0.6. Okay, 0.6 plus it is lagging, it is plus, so 100 into 0.23, XS is 0.23 whole square under root. Okay, that will become E naught equal to, what is the value? That is 222 volts. So this is how you are going to find terminal voltage, so that you can also find percentage voltage regulation, that is E naught minus VT by VT. Here it will be 222 minus terminal voltage 200 by 200, that will become 22 by 200, that will be 11%. Okay, the voltage regulation is 11% and it should be positive because it is a lagging power factor. Okay, it is plus. So that is about synchronous impedance method. Okay.